This is Jason with devslopes.com, and in this video we are going to do a short walkthrough of Bootstrap's websites and how you can use some of their pre-built components they have. Okay, so go ahead and open up your browser, and we're going to go ahead and go to Bootstrap 4. And if we come into the documentation here, and we can scroll through and see that we've got a bunch of options here over to our right. And what we want to do is we're going to work with this section right here. We're going to review this. You've got layout, content, components, utilities, things like that. So if you take a view at the layout here, it's going to take you through an overview, tell you how the grid system works, media objects, and then the responsive utilities. And you can read some of the documentation here. But the thing that we're really going to be diving into here is the components, okay? And this is going to give us a really awesome list of different types of components we can put into our projects, such as badges, buttons, button groups, cards, carousels, drop downs, things like that. So let me kind of show you how this works. So go ahead and click on the buttons, and it's going to give you an intro of what it is and kind of how it works. And then it's going to give you some examples about how you can use these and incorporate them into your project. So you can see by adding this class, you can see that we've got the BTN class, which is Bootstraps class. Okay, that's what adds all the padding, heavier text. You can see we've got rounded corners here. And then you can see that we got a BTN primary, which gives us this blue color. Secondary is white, success, green, info, warning, danger, right? And so you can use these different classes to add colors to your buttons, okay? And then as we scroll down here, it teaches you how to use link type of buttons. So if you want this to redirect to a URL, this button, it shows you that you can use an anchor tag here and add the BTN class with a color of some sort, and then it can actually take you to a web link, okay? And then you got buttons, you know, with just the outlines to it. It shows you how you can add sizes to the buttons. And so you can see you can just add a class like a BTN large, LG. They have the small buttons here. They've got block level buttons. And so what you can do is you can actually just copy these components and put them into your project. All right, now please understand, you don't want to get into habits of just copying and pasting components into your project. It's really important that you understand how these elements, these components are working, and how the classes, Bootstrap's classes, are working under the hood. All right, so that's an overview of buttons. We're actually going to be working with this card component in one of our projects to build a login screen. And this is one of the things that's actually new in Bootstrap 4. These cards, they actually used to call them panels, but they changed the class name over to a card. And so that's what kind of gives us this card form where we can add images and text and other content. And it shows you different use case scenarios, and it kind of gives you a starter template to work with, okay? So there's some cards, and then carousels are also really popular. In websites, these are the things that kind of give you the image slides that you can scroll through, and they've even got examples how to switch through them with arrows. And one of the things also to understand about these components is these are working with jQuery under the hood, and so a lot of times in our projects we use the jQuery CDN to inject jQuery into our project, and so that's what kind of allows the animations to happen under the hood. And just by adding the class like carousel slide, it's going to grab the jQuery that it needs to animate these slides for us. And you can see this one has some slide indicators at the bottom, so you can take this and you can really dig through the HTML here, identify some of the classes and really study this, and you can start seeing and understanding how this stuff is working. So carousels are great, very popular. We've got the drop downs, the forms, modals. These ones are some of my favorite. I don't know why, I just think they're cool. These are like little pop-ups that you can get. Like here's a live demo here, and you can go ahead and launch it, and then you can add content within this. And these are giving you examples of like adding some text in here. But as you get more experienced with this stuff, you can add like forms into these and images and other content that users can interact with. So this is just a brief walkthrough of Bootstrap and the components you can use here. I would recommend diving into all of these, the nav bars, popovers, things like that. And then you can see all these pre-built components that you can use in your projects. So that concludes this video. Check out the documentation, browse through it, and get really familiar with Bootstrap. That's it.